Hey, welcome back to the Happy Place Diaries, the channel that helps you get the most out of your RV by giving you tips and tricks and reviews and all that good stuff that brings you closer to happiness in your RV. Hey, in this episode, we're going to give you the biggest tip that I possibly could give you this year, and that is having a good routine, a good checklist. Stick around, this is going to be a good one. Hey, welcome back. As promised, this is going to be a good video. And why is it going to be a good video? Well, it's because you can learn from our mistakes. That's right. I once heard a great quote, and it was, we make mistakes so that other people don't have to. Something like that. Anyway, we almost had a catastrophic mistake happen to us on our last outing down at Lapine State Park. The weather was great, not great, but it wasn't raining. It was a little bit overcast. Everything was just a normal Sunday, moving through our routine of packing up to go home. And what we decided to do, whether it was consciously or not, we decided to break from our routine. We decided not to use our checklist, and we just kind of went with it. And lo and behold, we almost ripped 2 tires off of our trailer. We broke a piece of equipment that I absolutely love that now I have to replace. And we'll show you what that is. But first I want to talk to you about the importance of sticking to your routine and using a good checklist. And it doesn't really matter what format that checklist comes in. The important part is to have one. Whether you print out your checklist like we have here, or the one that we actually use, which is on our phone. Anyway, it's the same exact list, it's just this is a little bit more mobile. And I'm going to go over our checklist with you. Now, we're not going to touch everything, and we're not going to go through our routine in this video, but I want to touch on the things that we think is important and things that keep us in our routine. And I think it's super important that we remember that when we do this so much, that sometimes it gets really easy to fall in a rut and go away from what we know is the right thing to do. You know, we got so complacent in that we're so good at, getting into a campsite, setting it up, having a great weekend, and going home, that we literally just stepped right outside of everything that we know, and it almost cost us dearly. And the trailer gods were with us because nothing actually happened. And to be honest with you, I have no idea how we didn't destroy those tires. And like I said, I'll show you. So keep sticking around. But what I want to do real quick is talk about our checklist and how we break it down. And I'll use the paper one. It's a little bit easier to read. And like I said, it's the same exact thing that we have on our phone. And the beauty is you can use whatever you want. You use on your phone, on your computer, on a piece of paper, whether you laminate it and hang it around your neck. Do whatever is good for you, but I'm a big proponent of having a checklist. And we break our checklist down to essentially 4 parts. And the first part and the second part are split duties. So the outside of the trailer is my responsibility. The inside of the trailer is Teresa's responsibility. And then we kind of share the other two, And the reason that we can share it with good results is because we don't miss anything because it's on our checklist. So let's talk about some of the things that are on our checklist. And again, we're not going to walk around the trailer and show you all this stuff. You all know your trailer. And I would highly encourage you to take a little time, get a piece of paper, and either mentally or physically go through your routine of hooking up, towing, setting up, and then your departure checklist, which is everything from, getting up on that travel day, morning or whatever, to all the way through the actual moving of the trailer or fifth wheel or Class A, whatever the case may be. And I break it down to absolute small parts. For example, number one is open the compartments. So let's just say it's a weekend outing and we're out there on a Sunday morning. The first thing I do is go open the compartments. And why is that important to put on my checklist? Because it's part of the routine. And it gets me lined up for the next thing, which is to dump the black tank. So if I come out these doors, I come out the doors of the trailer, and I turn left, I have the first compartment, and I open it up, and then I walk around to the driver's side, and I open up that compartment, and then the black tank is right down the trailer from that compartment. So I'm kind of working my way in a sequence. While the black tank is dumping, I start putting away any outdoor furniture, our chairs, little tables, that kinds of stuff, our rugs, our little camp sign, which you've seen on videos, our folding table that we keep outside. I get all that stuff put away. And depending on the weather, it depends on where that goes. If it's been raining, the rugs go in the back of the truck. If everything's dry, it goes into the passenger side storage compartment. And then I'm going to raise up my stabilizers. Then I'm going to store my stabilizer blocks and my pads. So I have these little 4x4s that I use to shorten the gap with my stabilizers. So they all go into the compartment on the driver's side. I also store the Valterra stabilizers. One's in the rear and one's in the front. So that all kind of happens simultaneously, and it gets put away in the compartments. Since I'm putting away those blocks on the driver's side compartment, now I come down to the tanks again, close my black, and I dump my 2 gray tanks. When I dump my 2 gray tanks, I go back to the storage compartment up here, and I pull out my stabilizer bars that are going to go into my hitch. And I stage those. I put those right down by the tongue jack. So while I'm there, I go straight up to my propane tanks, and I turn off the gas. After I do that, I come back over here and I disconnect my sewage, because now all of my tanks are drained. I could disconnect my sewage and store my hoses. At that point, I also turn off the water and I disconnect the hose, and I store the hose and filter in a milk crate, and it goes into the driver's side compartment. At that point, I'm on the driver's side, so I go and I grab the truck and I back the truck up to the hitch. Once the truck's backed up, it's a real simple process. From there, I pull all of the safety pins off of the hitch area for my stabilizer bars, and I get that ready to hook up everything. I lower the trailer on the truck at that point, and it's safe to do so because all of my stabilizers are up. Secure my stabilizer bars and put in the pins. Put in my sway control and put in the pins. Then I raise the tongue jack, store all the way up. So now the trailer is firmly sitting on the truck. I connect my 7-pin connector, and I put on my covers, my jack cover and my propane tank cover. And once those covers are on, I know that I'm finished up in the front area. I disconnect my shore power at that point. I store my chocks, and I remove the X-chock. Okay, so while all of that is going on, Teresa's on the inside, and she starts at the front of the trailer, which is the bedroom, and she gets all the laundry out and put in a Camping World bag that we use to take in the house. She takes the bedding off if the bedding needs to be taken off. We have some dog stairs. Those go up on the bed. And then she turns off the lights. And that's really all you got to do in the bedroom. Then she moves to the bathroom, which is the next room from the bedroom, and gets that cleaned up. Make sure that the shower door is latched and the medicine cabinet is all secure. We keep a couple things up on the sink counter. That stuff goes in the sink. She's going to move out here into the living space and take care of the galley. Everything off the countertop, cleans the sink. The coffee machine goes in the sink. Checks the stove, makes sure all the knobs are off. All that's cleaned up and the lid is down and ready for travel. Checks the trash can, pulls that out. Then checks the living space. The IKEA table and chairs are secure. We secure the chairs with a bungee cord so that they don't move and travel. Then she comes to the back door here. As she sweeps out to the back door, she secures all the chairs in place and then pulls up our Moride steady stairs, pulls those up, and then shuts the door and locks it from the inside. Since she's back there, she's going to look up at the control panel, and she will make sure that all the switches are off. In particular, the water heater switch, because you don't want to burn up your water heater. But she just makes sure that all the lights are off. Everything is done on the control panel. Moves down here to the little electric heater or the fan, depending on what season it is, and make sure that is turned off and put on the floor. And then on her way back out to the front door, she's going to look up and make sure that the refrigerator is turned off. Then I'm going to do a walk around. I'm going to make sure that the awning is secure, that the doors are secure and locked. Our security light is not up, but it's actually sitting on the stovetop. I'm going to make sure as I walk around that all the windows are closed. The slide out is in all the way and secure. I'm going to check the lights on the trailer. I'm going to check the tires. And I'm going to check all the pins and all the connections up front where the trailer meets the truck. And then I'm going to walk around one more time and make sure that the stairs are up and everything is secure. That'll put me back at the front of the truck. I give it a quick once over, make sure that the antenna got put down and all of that stuff. And then I am going to get in the truck. Teresa will get out. She'll be out. I'll either back up or move forward to get the leveling blocks off. Those get secured. The cabinet gets secured. And then we are ready to drive away. That is our checklist for departure. So let me tell you what happened. So we're going through our routine. I got out. I didn't use the checklist. And I just started going through the routine. I dumped the tanks, backed the truck on, got everything ready, got everything hooked up. Teresa got the inside done and was talking with friends. We all got to chit-chatting. And Teresa jumped in the truck, which I usually do all the moving. And she said, I'll go ahead and pull forward so that we could get the leveling blocks off. And without even really thinking, because we were all engaged in other things at that time, I said, sure, go ahead. And I walked back. She pulled forward. I got the leveling blocks out, and I came back around. And Teresa had come back around, and she showed me our X-chuck and said, "Where does this go?" And I said, "Did you take that off the wheels?" And she said, "No, they were just laying here." Whereupon I completely went into full-on panic mode, and sure enough, we pulled forward with the X-chucks in the tires. And if you know how X-chucks works, they go between your front tire and your rear tire, and they put positive pressure on both sides. And I don't know, again, the grace of God, I don't know how it happened, because as the wheels go this way, it's going to put pressure downward and upward. And essentially what it did was it completely rolled the X-chuck, bent them, and shot them out from between our tires. It did not touch the gas line. It didn't affect any of the wires under there. And the worst thing that could have happened is it could have cut both of those tires. I could have just sliced them. And not a little bit of what appears to be paint came off the X-chucks onto the tires, but nothing else. We immediately checked the tires, rolled them, checked all the... We just checked everything. So really the only harm is we destroyed the X-chuck. Luckily we didn't have an X-chuck on the other side. We just had it on the passenger side here. The X-chuck is completely destroyed. Real important, use your checklist, stick to your routine, and avoid catastrophic events with your travel trailer, especially when you're trying to hit the road, whether that's on a weekend or it's a moving day for you full-timers. It definitely could have been a lot worse than it was, and we dodged a major bullet on this, but it reinforced the idea of using what we know is the right thing to do. Hey, let me know what kind of checklist you use. Go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section below. If you found value in this video, give us that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell. It'll let you know when we put out another great video. And of course, we ask of you to share our video with a friend. We all know that you have one. So share our video with a friend that might need this information. And with that, we will see you in the next video. Thanks for coming along.